one scared, one of a kind. All I do is contemplate ways to make your fans mine. Eyes bloodshot, stress and chills up your spine. Sick to your stomach, wishing I wrote your rhyme.
Yeah, I had to give you up. It's only been a year. Now I got my foot through the door, and I ain't going nowhere. It took a while to get me here, and I'm gonna take my time. Don't fight that much in the air. Now let me blow your mind.
Let your balls crack, your ball pop, I can't stop. Thugged out, I respect the cash route.
EBE will blow your mind. Good morning, citizens. It's Thursday, Throwback Thursday. That's why you're hearing all those tunes. Yes, and before that, you heard Coolio with I'll See You When You Get There. Today happens to be one of my favorite days of the week right here, because it's always throwback. Yeah, so you just get to reminisce all those really, really good music from Nigeria outside and then coming back again. And that is got to be what we'll be giving you today, blowing your mind, as Evie just said. So yeah, you are welcome first to the Morning Impact Show. My name is Tifot Toluwashi. I'm going to be with you from now till 12. We have lots and lots of things lined up for you, especially from the dailies. We want to know what is happening in our area. We want to know what's happening around, and afterwards it's just going to be music, more information, and lots of fun. So hey, once again, you are welcome to the Morning Impact Show. Plus, I have someone looking groovy here, right here, with his old shades and everything. Anyways, I'll be right back. Okay, so let's start the show.
Are you still sleeping? Wake up!
It's time for the Morning Impact Show. Weekdays, 6 a.m. to 12 noon. Only on High Impact 102.1 FM.
Hey, High Impact!
Hi, how may I help you?
Okay, so I get confused when I want to make my cereals. Which should I add first to my bowl? Is it milk or the cereal?
Oh, so here's one. You have to pour your milk into the bowl first, then add your cereal. This way, the cereal stays crunchy longer before it gets soggy.
Ah, I see. This was a good one. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
High Impact Radio 102.1 FM. It is a Thursday edition of the show, the newspaper review, where we get to analyze all of the stories that made front page in some of the dailies that we have with us today. And today I start with something a bit different. I start from the country of Sudan, where of recent we heard news that the women in Sudan have chosen to, many of them, that is, have chosen to commit suicide rather than being raped by RSF militia in that country. As of today, we saw recent videos where a Nigerian TV, one of the TV organizations, had to do an interview with some sort of activist from Sudan, and they were talking about it, and this activist confirmed that many of these things are happening in Sudan. And it's so sad, because in as much as some people will say, hey, so many things happening in Nigeria, we can't concern ourselves with things happening outside Nigeria, but it's a slim line to where we're moving into, because of the things happening in Nigeria. These are similar things that started happening in Sudan, Congo, and some other countries that are still suffering till date. These are similar things that are beginning to happen in Nigeria. Who's to say it might not lead one day if it's not tackled now? So I see these things and it makes me feel like, oh man, This is Africa. This is close to home. We need to talk about it. Aside the fact that this is going on, it is real sad. Our female folks hold the future of Africa. No matter how you want to look at it, they are. I'm not trying to, go into the whole anatomy thingy now, but at the end of the day,
It is what
women
it
are the
is.
ones who provide the future of the country because they are the ones who get pregnant. They are the ones who provide the future. So
Right.
one way or the other, they are the future of Africa. They hold the future of Africa. So if our women can't be safe, if our women can't, have freedom to be them, to be women, to live their life as they want to live their life, then what says our future?
That's
If they
so-
are killing us themselves just to prevent being raped by militias,
that's so
what
terrible.
says the future of Sudan? This
is
links me up to everything happening in Congo. We see what's going on in Congo, the crimes happening in Congo due to, many people say due to mining and all of that. These are things going on. Rapes, children being used as slave laborers. So many things is going on in Africa, and Africa needs to stand up and understand that they are the prize. They hold the most important factor of everything. We shouldn't be at this stage with all the natural resources we have in our soil, with the sun shining on us every single morning, making us look good, with everything happening, with the weather we have, with everything so perfect with Africa. But yet leadership is the only thing holding us back. Leadership is the only thing keeping us grounded, making us the poorest continent in the world that has the richest resources ever.
The irony.
The irony of what Africa is compared to what it is meant to be. Africa needs to stand up. And the time is now. The time is now. If it's not now, then when? We are the educated ones. We have seen everything. This is the 21st century. We know how everything works now. We know the past. We know our history. We know what we should be and where we should be going to. And only until Africans themselves, the citizens now, I'm not talking about the leaders now, the citizens decide to take part by themselves and say, okay, our leaders, we now start dictating for you. This is what we want. We hold the power and you have to do what we want you to do and do it well. And when I say what we want you to do, I'm talking about the correct things, which is making the economy better, which is making education a priority, which is making healthcare the main thing, that all the major things that Africans needs to grow. We have everything right here. We have everything to make ourselves the greatest. We could decide, okay, we do not need the West no more. Let's produce for ourselves and sell for Africa, and Africa will still be successful. But I do not understand. Although I do understand,
it's a really terrible,
really
thing.
terrible situation that we find
But
ourselves
the
in.
only thing that we can still also do, despite all of this, is still keep believing.
Wow.
Because if that is also like lost, then it will just mean that there is nothing anymore. It's a really like
A
I
dicey
don't wanna call it
situation,
a
that is.
hopeless case, really.
It is a dicey situation. It's a case of being hopeful in midst of hopelessness. So it's a crazy one. But if we keep going on and on and on, we won't start the newspaper review this morning because this is a long topic. We could go for
It
days
is,
on
for
it,
days.
and we'll
I
have
mean,
different
aside
topics.
only from Nigeria, other countries.
We'll have different topics to talk about on why Africa shouldn't be the way it is at the right moment. But hey, the show must go on. It is the newspaper review. My name is Uche Okori.
And my name is Toluwashe Akinwumi. As always, from Monday through Friday, we take you through the papers, right? So that is what we're going to be doing from the first one to the fourth one. And you can also let us know what is happening at your place, what is happening in your area. Do you want to react to any of the stories that you'll be hearing? You'll be able to call us or send a text message. Also, we are live on YouTube. You can just go there and follow us, subscribe, watch us, see how we're doing things and talking about the situations. The number to actually call is 0700 1021 1021. That is 0700 1021 1021. You can also send a text message or WhatsApp message to 0907 224 5018. That is 0907 224 5018.
Okay, yes, and on YouTube, we are live at iMpact 102.1 FM. So, subscribe to our YouTube channel, click the notification button so you can get to know whenever we are live. But let's go on a short break, and when we come back, we will be looking at the papers and food. Don't go nowhere. It is your Urban Lifestyle Station.
I know, and I love you too. This is why I've made it so that you can now have me everywhere you go. www.highimpactstudios.com. Press play. Links in our social media bio. Click at High Impact 1021 FM. Or you can just go the regular way. Turn on your radio and tune in to 102.1 FM.
We love you at High Impact Radio. Mwah!
See, there is no separating us now.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Impact Radio 102.1 FM. In case you all just joined us, this is the newspaper review where we get to analyze all of the stories that made front page in some of the dailies that we have with us today. And of course, we will be moving straight to it, but do not forget, you can reach us at any time if you call us up on 0700 1021 1021, or if you text us or WhatsApp us on 0907 224 5018. We are also live on YouTube at Impact 102.1 FM. So go watch us live, click the subscription button, and be a part of our family. So, hey, straight to the papers. We start with the Vanguard newspaper this morning. The Vanguard says this one: fuel price increases pushing Nigerians to the limit. Fuel price increases pushing Nigerians to the limit. That's according to the Labour Union, and has a couple of writers to this one. So it says government shouldn't be surprised if citizens react in unexpected manner. Subsidy removal, worsening production cost, transportation, others. That's according to Employers Group. Marketers spend days at Dangote Refinery buying through NNPCL, Ipman. Ads marketers will be happier to buy directly from refinery. Argues Nigerians will see price reduction if marketers buy direct from refinery. So many writers that particular story, and it just keeps baffling me every time that we have to keep talking about this
Every single time.
And it's tiring. It's let's move on. How poultry packaging cartels fix prices. Really? It's a cartel thingy now. Is that a reaction? Because I sometimes think those ones in charge of this, of these agencies, sometimes as if they do not face the reality of things, like they're not talking when it comes to reality. Because if you're saying that the poultry and packaging people are the one fixing prices, like it's some sort of like they are making it expensive, that's according to the FCC PC boss, Tunji Bello. Are you saying those things do not deserve to go up? Are you saying the poultry farmers are not buying feed meals to feed those chicks to grow up? The drugs they give to them, the Medicare, all of the things they do, transportation they will take to go to where they will have them delivered, transportation they will take to have all the food, the feedings and all of that delivered to the poultry. Power they have to pay for, electricity, money they have to pay for to fuel their generators,
cleaning, at least those
pay salaries. And you think And they have to increase salaries for some people too, because at the end of the day,
It's actually some people's livelihood.
it is
That
their
is how
livelihood. That's how they
eat and
feed it. They
feed.
have to come. They will need to come to work. And for you to meet up to salary packaging, because your staff is complaining, hi, I can't be coming to work if it's 15,000 per month anymore because, hey, it's taking all of my salary. So I need to, if I need to work and know I'm working, you need to pay me a higher salary aside from this amount, which the man knows, okay, it's true because the economy is crazy at the moment. It increases it, everything increases. How does he make that money back? It has to increase the price of egg. Because that's the only way. Or you want them to sell at 2,000 naira and be bringing out the money? Is it a
That's a
charity
loss.
organization?
No, I would just be like a loss.
Even charity won't do that. I'm talking about charity, not the organization now.
Wow.
Anyways,
Oh, wow.
underneath that one, we see FG justifies photo gates on Abuja Kefi Makodi Expressway. You find that one on page 9. There's a huge image of a cotton ceremony. The Adebuti Media Resource Center commissioned at the Nigerian Institute of Journalism. I needed to talk about that because we are all journalists, so it's a good one. So underneath that one, crash, NCAA dismisses reports on chopper airworthiness. NCAA dismisses reports on chopper's airworthiness. That's according to the crash that happened in Port Harcourt. Rumors came out saying the chopper had, it wasn't worthy. It has been, tabled as scrap, that it shouldn't be used for flying anymore. We saw rumors, but we couldn't confirm if that was true. But the NCAA has come out to say, hey, it's not true. That had no, there was no airworthiness check saying that the chopper wasn't, worthy enough to be on air. But in case you want to find all of that details, page 9 of the Vanguard is where you're going to look at. We are determined to flush out terrorists in Nigeria. That's according to the defense minister. That's on page 31. Stop talking about it. Start doing it. Ministerial appointments. Senate confirms Bianca Odumego Juku. 6 others on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper above the nameplate. Money supply increases 64% to 108.95 trillion naira. It is on page 19. Atiku Musab others warn as court stops monthly allocations to Rivers. This one we need to talk about with our analysts. Real big story, So I don't, talk about it now. So let's move to something else. Workers pronoun despite pay increases. Oshiomole laments. Tinubu appoints Major General Olufemi Oluyede acting course. That is on page 8. That is Chief of Army Staff. And we are asking, why do we need an acting course if the army says there's nothing wrong with the current Chief of Army Staff? Why is there a need for an acting Chief of Army Staff?
And now, so let's just say the person was put in, but there are no explanations as to why. Since there's still someone there, but
we know of someone who there was rumor allegedly that he was sick. Allegedly, some said he died in the hospital. Allegedly again,
yes.
And so many rumors. And the army came out to say, no, it is not true.
And they're all rumors that
Everything was clarified that it is not true. The Chief of Army Staff is not dead and all of that. But transparency again demands what exactly is happening to our Chief of Army Staff. And keyword in this statement, I said, our Chief of Army Staff. It belongs to Nigeria, so we deserve to know as Nigerians what is happening to our Chief of Army Staff and why do we need an interim or acting Chief of Army Staff. So many questions that need answers, but find that story on page 8, and that's the Vanguard for this morning.
Don't forget, you can also listen to us via the website www.high-impactstudios.com. Now we move to the Daily Trust newspaper. Front page says, Dangote marketers in fresh row over sale of petrol. Dangote marketers in fresh row over sale of petrol. The story is on page 4. We have 2 riders to it. We are ready to buy from private refinery, but this is according to marketers. You need to find what that but is, still on page 4. And another one, Nigerians demand fuel price reduction. Availability. This is the story still over the, the talk of petrol. Now, like I said, that story is on page 4. If you want to get more details on that, below the nameplate, we find Atiku cautions as court stops monthly releases to Rivers. I rightly said we are going to be talking about that with our analysts afterwards. This one is on page 6. Next, power restored in Kano, Plateau, Bauchi, Gombe, Benue, Kaduna, Nasarawa. This one is on page 5. Well, thank God for that, because there have been according to the news that we've been hearing, there's been like blackout. So this one is a good one, and hopefully it stays for a while, at least. So this one is on page 25, and we have another story. I'm threatened with Atta as minister. This is according to Senator Hanga. The writer here says APC sets the... What is written here? APC sets to reclaim Kano in 2027, according to Senator... This is Senator Borno, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, that story is, I can barely see the one here, but this is page 11, the story about I'm threatened with Atta as minister, on Daily Trust newspaper.
Yeah, that's Senator. Oh, that
is
quite,
I
small. We want to call the wrong name, so hey.
So just get the Daily Trust newspaper, and these are the stories that you will find there. Below, we have Tinubu appoints Oluyede acting chief of army staff. We just read that one on page 1 this time around for the Daily Trust newspaper. More stories. Senate confirms Dinyadi Suwaiba might have 4 others as ministers. This one is on page 28. Don't take everything IMF, World Bank tells you. Jega tells federal government. This one is on page 25. And besides that, again on page 26, abducted female doctor, nephew regained freedom after 10 months. Wow. Abducted female doctor, nephew regained freedom after 10 months. These are the stories on the Daily Trust newspaper. If you want to have or get more details, just grab a copy or find one online and see how you can get more details on this story. You wanted to say something.
Yeah, the last story you know about the doctor, that was a story we were talking about for a couple of months, and I'm really, really glad to actually see that she has finally regained freedom, because she was abducted over 10 months ago. We had a couple of strikes by doctors because of this particular doctor who was, abducted. She was abducted alongside her husband and her nephew. Her husband was released at one point, I guess allegedly after some certain, ransom was paid. Then she has still been in captivity with the nephew for a while. So it's glad to know she
after
is,
10 months at least. Yeah, that's a long time, really. And anything can happen in that 10 months.
Can you imagine? So many things could have happened to her. So many things could have happened to her. But I'm glad she's back.
It's a good one.
It's a good one. So
we move on to the Guardian.
Yeah, straight to the Guardian newspaper. It says, new twist as Rivers stakeholders fault allocation suspension order. That is on page 6. We find underneath that one an image of the Chief Justice of the Nation, Wike at one side, Fubara at one side, because hey, this is a battle between Fubara and Wike. No matter how anyone wants to look at it, in as much as people are saying, oh, it is the House of Representatives, one of the House of Representative member that sent, that sued to court saying the 4-member panel, blah 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 blah. We do know that particular member of the House of Representatives is pro-Wike, because they left because of the whole pro-Wike thingy and the pro-Fubara clash and all of that. So there's no how we can take Wike out of it, because we know the stories, or else we just want to pretend he's not in the picture, and it's going to be difficult to pretend he is not in the picture. Even the papers The papers put it as a headline on top of it. Fubara Wike face off is always going to be in the picture. So let's see where this one goes. And I do hope the courts will not turn to be being used at the end of the day, because this is going to be a debacle where politicians are trying to, use the courts one way or the other. And the court needs to stand firm. Look at the facts. Look at the constitution. Look at what works, and give firm judgments that favor, the winner, not just to favor anyone else, but favoring the winner based on the facts and the merits of the case being brought before them. Beside that one, TCN restores power to North as IHRC says 1.5 trillion lost to blackout. You see that one on page 2. NAAT may join NASU Sasanu strike over salary arrears issues ultimatum. That's one is on page 3. Underneath it, Tinubu appoints Oluyede as acting army chief. Also on page 2. Elected officials selfish, undermining citizens' welfare. Jega laments. That one you find on page 8. Our Senate confirms Tinubu's 7 ministerial nominees. You see that on page 3. Tax reform bills. Ndume Arewa. Okay, take that one more time. Tax reform bills. Ndume Arewa group locks horns as NGF traditional rulers meet. Yeah. Tax. Actually, I know 4 were sent to the House of Representatives, 4 particular bills on tax alone. So brace up. Beside that one,
use your brace up.
Be ready. So energy cost, Japa syndrome will threaten survival of varsity system. That is on page 7. Governance, Mo Ibrahim report scores Nigeria low. You see that one on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Oh, page 5, I beg your pardon. INEC blames non-trial of offenders on outdated laws. Others. News is on page 5. Sexual harassment. Reps propose 14-year jail term for offenders. You find that story on page 2. And finally, on the Guardian newspaper this morning, Obaseki, Zamfara governor, offers advocates sustainability of projects. You see that on page 8, and that's the Guardian for this morning.
And lastly, on the Punch newspaper, we read here, petrol rising cost, marketers write Dangote over bulk purchase deal. The writer here says, IPMAN, Petron, I Refineries 500 million PMS reserves, queues in Abuja after NNPCL's price hike. This one is on page 2. Page 2 says this on the Punch newspaper. Above the nameplate, we find Fubara appeals as court stops Rivers allocations. This on page 2. Next is striking varsity workers vow showdown as federal government rebuffs talks. This one is on page A48 of the Punch newspaper. On page 27, we find Tinubu appoints Oluyede acting chief of army staff as Lagwaja undergoes treatment. So this particular story has another,
twist to it.
Yes. Okay. You can find more details for this on page 27. So probably the reason I was talking about that they just kept it there without anything. We'll be able to get much more details on that here. Beside the nameplates, more updates on the Ondo governor's poll, getting ready for that election. PDP, APC trade blame over campaign violence. This one on page A3. Also on that same page, SDP upbeat as deputy governor candidate defects to APC. You want to find more details, just grab a copy of the Punch newspaper. We find pictures of, kidnappers, armed dealers right here, their ammunitions beside them, and of course, policemen apparently haven't caught them. The story here reads, police arrest 1,246 armed dealers, kidnappers, recover 3,172 ammunition in October alone. And this one is on page 28. My own question is always, these are people who are actually going out, because you're doing this, probably they want to, in the wrong way, in a negative way, try to find their daily bread. So how are they able to have the how am I going to put it, the resources to actually have this amount of ammunition? Because if you had that kind of money, wouldn't you just go and buy something to eat?
Well, that's what you get to find out, that somebody there behind. There's always something behind. So
it gives me the chills, like when I see all of this.
It's not easy to get ammunition into the country, you know that. Yes?
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you have that kind of money, why not just go and get something?
Well, probably because to them that pays more. You know, to some people it's more of laziness. They prefer those kind of easy way to get something. So once they have the money, they think to themselves, why not I invest in this easy life where I can make all the money I can make. Easy life will not be like, when I say easy life, not like it's easy, but you know what I mean. For them, they don't have to over stress just to make money. They have to just wait. Other people do the stress and they steal from them. A lazy way to to survive. The
amount is outrageous, though. The amount is outrageous.
Really is outrageous.
So thankfully they caught them, and you can just find more details, like I said earlier, on page 828. More stories here. Bianca Ojukwu, other ministers set for swearing in after Senate confirmation. Page 28 has that story. Commuters demand quick repair of damaged Lagos Bridge. This one is by Sonwo-Olu, and we have the story on page 5. And then lastly, on the Punch newspaper on page 18, you can find food inflation. 7 imported wheat vessels. Food inflation. 7 imported wheat vessels arrive Nigeria. That is the stories, or those are the stories actually that we have right here on the Punch newspaper. Is there anything that catches your attention?
Well, basically most of it, but it's always good for us to talk to our analysts, then maybe decipher all of it together.
All right then.
Okay, let's go on the short break. When we come back, we will be speaking to our in-house analyst, Comrade Hame Fully Bright, as we discuss some of the stories that made front page in some of the dailies this morning. Don't go nowhere. We will be right back.
Are you still sleeping? Wake up!
It's time for the Morning Impact Show. Weekdays, 6 a.m. to 12 noon. Only on High Impact 102.1 FM.
Bringing you updates and information on safety and wellness with Safety Echo. Join us every Thursday by 10:30 on High Impact 102.1 FM for a journey into knowledge on a secure and eco-conscious living. From workplace security to road safety and many more. Discover hacks to protecting yourself while preserving the environment. Tune into Safety Echo and be part of a movement towards a safer, healthier, and greener future. Join us every week and let's make a difference together. Safety Echo is powered by KKF Foundation.
Together under this weather, here in Wagada, we are gathered with the order, waiting for Dega. Oh, there he comes with Okada.
What be this? Waiting be this.
More like gather for the impact of our October agenda. This October, we want to extend some high-impact magic to you. With massive recharge vouchers giveaway on our social media platforms and opportunities to learn entrepreneurship skills, thereby impacting your lives meaningfully. Citizens, hop on board the October Impact. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at High Impact 1021 FM and on Facebook at High Impact Radio 102.1 FM. This October is going to be impactful. The question is, are you ready?
Together under this weather, here in Wagada, we are gathered.
Quiet.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Impact Radio 102.1 FM. In case you are just joining us, believe me, you've missed, because we have spoken about some of the stories that are on the papers. But hey, you're also right on time for the conversation with our in-house analyst, who happens to be, a political analyst, human rights activist, and a media consultant. We are talking to Comrade Hame Fule Bright this morning. Good morning, Comrade.
Good morning.
Good morning, High Impact FM. Good morning, fellow Nigerians.
Good morning to you, sir. I hope you're having a fine day so far.
Yes, we bless God, man.
Okay, I'm going to go straight into it, and I'll have to start with the big one. Not like big, but at least big. And it's close to home for you. I'm talking about Rivers State, where we saw an injunction be filed, and the court given a suit saying that the Rivers allocation has to be stopped. We've seen people come out to say it shouldn't be so, this and that, but we also know that it is one of the 24 members from the House of Representatives in Rivers State who also filed this suit to stop the allocation of Rivers State. But what does this mean for Rivers State? What does this judgment by the court mean for Rivers State? Also knowing that they still have another case in the Supreme Court which is going on as it stands right now. What does this mean for Rivers?
Well, such injunction to every Nigeria is an indirect call for anarchy, and to every Nigerian, to an every concerned patriotic citizen of this country, is an indirect way of another slap on the face of the good people of Rivers State, and specifically the commander, the chief security officer, and the governor of Rivers State. And looking at I'm happy that the governor and his legal team are very quick enough to place an injunction on such a frivolous court order. But however, let's watch what the courts will do in that regard, and let us see if somebody's personal quest and personal desire to midwife over the affair of a state, he has left as a governor. Let us see if it will now override the general interest and the survival of one of the oil-producing states of this country. So we look forward to seeing that. And this call for anarchy, to me and every other conscientious Nigerian, should be condemned. I'm happy the lives of Atiku, the lives of civil society organizations, and some of us who are vocal enough to condemn impunity are raising their voices to ensure that such impunity, such call for anarchy, such call for taking us back to the 70s when the democracy was scuttled, and those eras of democratic and military rascality. That is the era we are trying to see gradually unfolding. But we look forward to hearing the judgment. And as for the defectees those former state legislators who left their seat, the case Supreme Court, there is a locus classicus of that particular incident. So one of the states in the north where the Supreme Court have cleared their seat vacant, and the case of Rivers State is not going to be a different ballgame altogether. We are still in a democratic polity, and we are still in Nigeria, and we are still operating the same law that empower the Supreme Court to have a locus classicus of a particular case that have already been adjudicated over by the Supreme Court. The same issue of defection, So Okojumbo remains the Speaker of Rivers State House of Assembly, and nobody can change that. Let us see what the Supreme Court will. Let us see if the Supreme Court will now change the rule, will not change the precedent that have already been established in the Supreme Court of this country. So the presentation of 2025 budget should go on. The governor should continue with Okojumbo-led administration, led the speakership in the Rivers State Assembly, pending the determination by the Supreme Court of Nigeria. So the two issues, snowballing around the same man and one particular individual, and the procured judgment through the judge that has always been at his beck and call. Let's Nigerians continue to watch and see how events continue to unfold in that particular era. We look by next month thereabout, the judgment day will be fixed, and we will look at what the Supreme Court will say, and as well as what the appeal court will now do on this issue of stopping state allocation. Who can do that? This is a two government altogether. The High Court does not have jurisdiction over such injunction in the first instance, because a state government is an independent state on its own. They share revenue with the federal government, so you cannot, you don't have what it takes to stop another part of government to releasing what they share equally every month at the Federal Executive Council. So it is frivolous, it is laughable. Nigerians have continued to condemn it, and no matter how embarrassing it is, let us continue to condemn it and call on good people of Nigeria and the judiciary to do the needful and restore the dignity of Nigeria's system judiciary, and as well as ensure that this anarchy being called upon does not see the light of the day in the first place.
Oh yeah, hopefully let's see how that goes. And also, you were talking about the courts and all of this, and it begs the question for so many Nigerians: is the court not being played with? Is the court not being toyed with now? Because we see the court making decisions here, we see another court saying another decision there, and yet you are still talking about the Supreme Court. Let's see if the Supreme Court will not follow precedents of its own decisions which it made in a similar case in the North. How has the court system, the justice system, been made to be like this nowadays, where back and forth it says one thing here and another court says another thing here? Is the justice system being played with?
The members, the manipulators, oppressors always have their way of exploiting the system and making sure that everything works according to their plans. When you infuse hunger in the system, when you infuse starvation in the system, is an indirect way of manipulating the system to always state to your favor. What we have today, we continue to clamor for independence of the judiciary. Why Nigerians have begun to ask, why is this call so huge for it to be answered? Because why of these particular scenarios where you have there's a common saying that the piper dictates the tune. When you have the power to manipulate this particular arm of government because of their interest. A judge there wants to get promotion because that through you the promotion will come, either hook or by crook. Through you financial favor and inducement will always come, directly or indirectly. And there is hunger in the land. A man wants to procure fuel at a very high cost and to pay his children's school fees or her children's school fees. So these are the strategies the manipulators have continued to use to bury the system. So when I said procured judgment, when the word procured, you make payments, you call the person, you give the person champagne, and look at what is coming before you. I will take you to this place and I will take you to that, and in the next 4 years you will be here. This promises the judiciary is independent. When transparency is the order of the day, that before you get anything, it must be on merit. When meritocracy is not sacrificed at the altar of mediocrity, that is when things will begin to work well in this country. Because the system has refused to make the judiciary independent, because the system has refused to encourage integrity in the system. That is where people can now go and procure judgment. Another court will now say, okay, because you didn't give me money, let me also counter that. The person will now run to this. So there is rascality in the system, there is all disorderliness in the system, and there is no unity in the system, and there is no accountability, because the executive will continue to manipulate the system, the rich will continue to manipulate the system, those in power will continue to manipulate the judiciary. So the judiciary is just at the mercy of the highest bidder. Just get your money, you procure a judgment, and the one court will stamp it, and it begin to pay the media to also broadcast it. It begin to fly in a civil society. Such a high court order stopping mandating central bank not to remit a monetary allocation to Rivers State shouldn't have even seen the light of the day. But because money has crossed hand, payment has been made, the media is projecting it, and the court has stamped it. That is where it's not a news. Ordinarily, it's not meant to be a news. It's not meant to fly. It's not. You shouldn't have even seen the light of the day. Where there is sanity. But because you can procure anything and make it to fly, that is why we are now talking about. It's not a news. Something that you have no jurisdiction to act on such. You have no locus, to make such an announcement. But because we can procure, because the media can be paid, to circulate, that is where we are today. Well, we're talking about an individual, a court, giving an order to stop a state allocation in a high court in a country like this in 21st century.
Okay, well, so talking about the media here, we make sure the news is heard by the people. If we do not talk about it, then how will everyday Nigerians then kick against this so-called rascality you're talking about? So, hey, the media has to do its job. But moving on, we see Dangote and the marketers and NNPCL in another battle, and it is sad. We saw Dangote telling the marketers that they shouldn't import anymore. When the marketers imported, the marketers are saying, do not make NNPCL be the intermediary between buying from you. Okay, the NNPCL needs to be on its own. We also should buy directly from you. What is stopping that from happening? We saw crude oil, the Nigerian trades, Naira for crude being, started this October. But yet, we saw for the third time in 2 months an increase in fuel price, which makes for the NNPC right here in Lagos 1,025 Naira for the NNPC. That means the normal filling stations could be as much as 1,200 to 1,300. I do not know how much it is where you are at the moment, but I would like you to tell us how much it is where you are for NNPC, then on the other filling stations at the location you are, and also how are we going to put an end to this particular debacle between the NNPCL, IPMAN, and Dangote?
Yes, currently in the entire Southeast, we are begging to have at 1,200 Naira a litre. We are begging, guys, although there is still queue, and the people, the NNPC, those that have the time and energy to go and wait for for a long queue in NNPC, they are getting at 1,650 here in the entire Southeast. Now, to the question, Dangote. Although I have my reservation about Dangote and his monopolistic, style of,
doing business,
of operation, So, but he has actually, for once, come out openly to tell Nigerians that he has, that his refinery have a lot of, deposits of this PMS to distribute. But it's shocking also to hear from him that despite the quantum availability of this product, people are still patronizing the importation process that have kept us where we are today. It's shocking. Nigerians are shocked to hear such, that we have a functional refinery here producing equal to what is needed, and even according to his confession that there is enough products to distribute. But the cabals who are benefiting from this whole process of importation over the years that have kept Nigeria where we are today are still patronizing that same process because their money is at stake. They want to continue to enrich themselves. They want to continue to spile up, money for their generation unborn. That is why we cannot see, overthrow the process of petroleum availability here in Lagos State, Nigeria, and we keep on importing, paying foreign exchange to getting petrol in our country here. So I want to employ the marketers. They should resolve whatever issue they are having with NNPC that is stopping this distribution from Dangote, and focus on getting this product from Aliko Dangote's refinery, because he has come out open. Before, Nigerians are maybe blaming him that he's holding this for his form alliance with the NNPC not to send to the general marketers. But he has, in the national television, after whatever meeting they had at the Asoro, to tell Nigerians that, see, these products are available for distribution. You come and pick up this product. So let us wait and see what happens this forthcoming week and the days behind. Let's see if the whole impago between the NNPC and the marketers will be resolved, so that this gentle business persons can be going to source these products, probably with our local currency. Let's see if we have a direct effect on the exchange rate, and also see if the price reduction can be realized. So this is what is the policies that is being played in the oil sector, and gradually is coming to limelight. Nigeria is understanding what is happening, and I believe that the marketers who are the receiving end now should now come together and resolve whatever thing that is being the problem, and to remove greed. Some of them can also be greedy, not to patronize this because of the exchange rate and the money they are getting from their business partner, those important. Some of them have entered into a long aid contract that they are afraid of losing. So if they can put Nigeria first, look at the suffering Nigerians are facing daily because of the high cost of petrol price at the filling station, and reconsider their decision. Let us locally source these products. Let's reduce the cost. Because it's actually because it's an estate. By the time you report, you clear the custom and every other business they do there, and at the end of the day, they find you continue to keep rising every day. So if you can look at something that Lagos State distribute to the various states, and you can relatively get it maybe at the rate of 500, 800 thereabouts, who knows? So
or even less.
Employ the president to intervene, NPC, marketers come to a round table and see how they can help suffering and smiling Nigerians.
Okay, see how they can help the suffering and smiling Nigerians. I would have loved to leave it there, but I will also be shooting myself on the foot if I do not talk about this one. The Chief of Army Staff has been on the news for so long, and where the Nigerian Army denied that he was sick, also denying that something has happened to him, because rumor broke out that he died, in the hospital and all of that. But now, the Nigerian president has appointed an acting Chief of Army Staff in Oluyede. And the questions I think most Nigerians are asking is, if there's nothing wrong with the Chief of Army Staff, why do we need an acting Chief of Army Staff?
It's laughable that, if you recall, I recall those days in secondary school when we are taught what could make a leader to leave office. You say death, incapacitation, sickness, and others of them. Those things happen. I think it happened like a fairy tale. We have not seen in this country, Nigeria, and in Africa generally, we have not seen a leader holding a public office who resigned or maybe step aside as a result of sickness and capacity. I don't believe that theory works here. It never happens. We have countless reports of the man being incapacitated. We heard that he was sick. We heard that he's not, physically,
able to continue the job.
To continue to lead a very critical sector, security aspect in this country. And we have not seen him resign. We have not, seen him make a statement. All we hear is all his word that he just spoke with the president now. He's a hell and happy. But who is sitting on this? Nobody is sitting back. So it is time we tell ourselves the truth in this country. If we want this country to move forward, if we are incapacitated, nobody is immune from sickness. We are human. We can fall sick at that time. If you try and apply medical strategies and they find out that it's not working according to the time you are expected to get it, you will step aside honorably. Nigeria will appreciate what we read in the book, that somebody can step aside, they can leave office when you are not fit. But we have not seen that happen in this country. So, but the president is proactive enough to get in an acting Chief of Army Staff in place of the man. We pray that he recovers. And, if he wishes to continue, maybe his body still tells him the truth that he can still lead the military, fine. If he cannot, but the president should be commended for taking the interest of the national security at first before the relationship or maybe administrative relationship he has with the alien Chief of Army Staff. So we hope that the acting chief of army staff so appointed now should buckle up his loins and ensure that the military continue to show balance in their quest to ending banditry and insecurity across the country.
Okay, ending bandit and insecurity across the country is the hope of every single Nigerian. As we know, those are one of the reasons why Nigeria is where it is today. I want to say a very big thank you to you, Comrade Amahame Fulbright, for coming this morning. It's always an honor having you on the show, as you always make sure you give us insights on how to make Nigeria a better place to live. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
God bless High Impact FM. Nigeria will keep pushing.
We do hope Nigeria will keep pushing and pushing until the day we push to a successful country, a country where growth will keep coming, a country where we are proud to live in, a country where we are proud to say is our own, and a country where other countries will want to say, hey, we would like to be in this country and live a life worth living in this country, just like how many Nigerians choose to fly to outside this country for a more worthy living life. Today is the last day of the month of October. I want to say happy end of the month to you all, and we're looking forward to a new month which begins tomorrow, which happens to be a Friday. So hey,
that's true.
Yeah,
today is the last day.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm looking forward to talking to you guys on the new month tomorrow. But until then, my name remains Uche Okove. Have yourself a fantastic Thursday.
Yep, my name is Toluwasha Akilme. The Morning Impact Show continues, and do not forget that what? It is still Throwback Thursday.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Are you looking for an avenue to blast your brand? Why not let us be your detonator at High Impact Radio 102.1 FM with Got You Covered. For advert placement, sponsorship, partnership, call us on 0706 393 5694, 0915 958 1881, 0902 745 3931, or send an email to info@highimpactstudio.com.